What's up, guys? This is Terrence Green, and basically what I'm going to be doing is going through a couple of OCA practice questions here that I've never seen before. So, I'm not perfect. I might not get all these right, but I will try my best to get these correct. Everybody knows that the OCA exam is pretty tricky in some regards. From what I understand, a lot of the practice questions are a lot harder than the actual exam, which is a good thing because I get to train on those harder questions. So, with that being said, we're just going to run through some questions, and I'm going to go through these the most efficient way possible I can, and you can look at these along with me here. So let's check these out. Okay, so it says, what's the output of the following code? Okay, so we have public class main, public static void main string args, int num equals 20. Okay, so final int num equals 2. Okay, so I already know that this is not going to compile. When a variable is made final, it has to be initialized. Okay. Secondly, this is within a method. This is a local variable, so it should have to be initialized regardless. So I believe this is going to be a compilation error. So I'm just going to stop and just say the letter D is correct. So let's see if this is correct. Bam. So yeah. So as soon as you see that final variable, it needs to be initialized. On top of that, it's a local variable. It's within the main method, so it needs to be initialized. So we'll go to 35 now. Okay, so what's the output of the following code? So we have public class main, public static void main string args. Okay, what's the output? So we'll kind of look at some of the answers we have here: 120, 121, 127 default. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So this is a switch statement. Now, one of the things that's recommended that I've seen is to memorize the data types that a switch statement is compatible with. So I believe you have an integer, a byte, a string, right? A character, an int. An integer is the wrapper class and an int. I want to say an enum and a. Let's see, I already said string. Oh, so string. So yeah, so int, byte, string, character, integer wrapper class, and an enum, right? So let's see what we got here. So it's a byte, so we know that this is going to work correctly. Okay, so we have 120 in this spot here. Now the default statement being first does not matter. They try and trip you up like that, so that does not matter at all. So because this is 120, it's going to come down here, okay, and it's going to print out 120. Now there's no break statement here, so there's no break statement, so it's going to keep on going until it hits a break. So it's going to go 120, 121, 127, and then break. So it looks like A is the correct answer. Let's see if we're correct. Bam, A is the correct answer. Okay, so awesome. So yeah, this is a couple tricky points here. Like I said, the default being first does not matter. A byte is a compatible data type. They want to try and trip you up with that. They store it in a variable called foo. And then thirdly, they didn't put a break. So they try to trip you up 3 different ways on this one. And there's lots of them just like that, and they only get harder. Okay, so let's look at this next one. Which of the following lines of code can be individually inserted at insert code here so that the output of the code is as follows? Okay, so it looks like one of these answers here is correct, of course. So it says, which of the following lines of code can be individually inserted at insert code here, okay, so that the output of the following code is as follows. Okay, so it's saying what can we put here from these answer sets to get this output. So we have a.print and b.print. So we want a.print to print this and b.print to print this. So we have a.print. Okay, so we have an object of class A, or of shape, class shape, stored in A, and it's calling the variable print from shape. Okay, so what we need, so basically this is correct here. So this is going to print this, right? Because we have a.print and we have this variable of type shape here, or this object of type shape, sorry, and it's stored in this variable A. It's going to call print. It's going to call shapes print, which is going to print shape dash A. So it's saying, so basically we just need an object of shape B, for shape B. So shape B equals new shape, I believe is the correct answer. So it's going to be, it's actually going to be rectangle, right? Rectangle extends shape. So we're going to say rectangle B equals new rectangle. Okay, so I believe it's going to be C, rectangle B equals new rectangle. I think there's only one correct answer. Sometimes these answers have, sometimes these questions have multiple correct answers. But I'm going to go with C, rectangle B equals new rectangle, right? Because it's going to create a new rectangle. It has a constructor. So I'm going to go with C. And so it looks like B and C are correct. We kind of said B. I didn't know that they wanted two answers on this one. Sometimes it tells you if they want two or not. In this particular code question set, it doesn't. But I can see why B is correct. If you make shape B equals new rectangle, and you grab that method, that print method from the rectangle class. So it looks like this one is correct and C is correct. So rectangle B equals new rectangle. One thing I haven't 100% hit on is whether or not the methods or the variables that are being accessed come from the type or from the constructor. So based on this question, I have to assume that it comes from the constructor, right? Because this one's the type shape, and both of these have the same constructor. So it looks like the method that the object receives is going to come from the constructor. So that's good to know. If anybody thinks something different, you can write in the comments if you're watching this, which would be cool. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so given the following code, which of the options are true? So we have class shape, okay, void print, okay, so that's fine. Class rectangle extend shape, okay. All right, so let's see. Now, let's see. So void, okay, void print, okay, extend shape. Okay, the method print defined in the class of shape, rectangle, and square is polymorphic. Okay, so I don't think that's correct because polymorphism refers to the way an object can take on different traits, so to speak, different qualities in that regard. So it's saying that the method itself is polymorphic, and I don't think that's true in this one. Only the method print defined in the classes shape and square is polymorphic. Okay, only the method print defined in the classes shape and square. Once again, I might be misunderstanding this, but I don't think the method itself is polymorphic. I thought polymorphism only referred to objects. I could be missing the point of the question. Only the method print defined in the class square is polymorphic. I'm going to put D. I could be wrong. It's saying A is correct, so it's polymorphic. So I guess I might have misunderstood what it was referring to there. The method print defined in the classes shape, rectangle, and square is polymorphic. So I guess it's polymorphic because it is involved in these different classes. Now, let's see here. Obviously, when we look at polymorphism, it's the ability of an object to take on many forms. So I haven't really heard of that being used in that way, but obviously this answer is probably correct. And so, I'm just here to learn, so I'll take their word at it that the method print in the class of shape, rectangle, and square is polymorphic in itself, not pertaining to an object in this regard. So let's just keep on going. Okay, so given the following code, select the correct statements. Class person, class employee extends person, class doctor extends person. Okay, given the following code, select the correct statement. So I'm assuming that more than one of these is going to be correct. So it says the code exhibits polymorphism with classes. I could agree with that. Okay. The code exhibits polymorphism with interfaces. There's no interface here. These are all classes, so that's not correct. The code exhibits polymorphism with classes and interfaces. There's no interfaces here. because a class can only implement an interface. It can't extend an interface. So it looks like A is the correct answer, and it looks like D is correct. So give me one. Okay, so missed this one here. So none of the above. Okay, so yeah, the code exhibits polymorphism with classes. Okay. The code above does not define any method in the class person that is redefined or implemented in the classes employee and doctor. All three polymorphism concepts or design principles are based on a method which is missing in these classes. Okay. Okay, I guess I can see that. So it's basically saying that because no method is defined and being acted on for polymorphism, that because there's no method defined in these three classes, there's no evidence of polymorphism occurring. Once again, that kind of conflicts with my memorized definition of polymorphism, but I guess it's just showing that the method can be polymorphic in itself. So we're gonna go through a couple more of these. Like I said, nobody's perfect, and we're definitely learning here. So what is the output of the following code? Public class main, public static void main string args, int I equals 0. Okay, so we have a for statement here. And so for, this is completely fine. You'll find on the exam that these, as long as your semicolon is here, that you don't necessarily need to have the anything inside this code block behind the semicolon here. So we have our condition, okay, and we have an incrementer here, I equals I plus 5. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Public class main. Okay, if I is less than 5, so I equals 0. Okay, so if I is less than 2, okay, so this is evaluated just as it is, and then this will be incremented. Okay, so we have I equals 0. Alright, and if I is less than 5, continue. Okay, now because this is not initialized, right, so this should compile just fine. So I believe for the first full loop I will be at 0. So it's going to continue and print 0, right? And then it's going to print 0. Oh no, it's still going to be inside the loop. So it's going to print 0. Now I equals 5 because this has been incremented. So it's going to say 0. Okay. Now it's saying if I is less than 5, but it's not, it's going to be equal to 5 because it comes down 0 the first time. Then the second time it gets incremented. So I equals 5 now. And so now I is equal to 5. So this is false. 5 is not less than 5. It's equal to 5. So because this is false, it's not going to act this out. So it should be 0 and 5. Should be the answer. Now, oh, actually, I is less than 2. So it's 0, and then once it comes up as 5, so this won't even enact. So it'll still be 0 and 5. Okay, so it should be B. It should be B, and it's not. It's F. So it just only prints 5, which is weird. So it looks like that. Let's see. So it looks like it prints out 5 only. So it looks like this is getting evaluated prior to that. So it looks like this is equal to 5. If I is less than 5, continue. So it only prints 5 out once. So I don't believe this even gets evaluated here. It increments it right there, and then it's just kicked out. So, but that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much. and I'll just chronicle my journey to learning for the OCA exam. A lot of these questions are difficult, but I'm doing my best, and